Senator Patty Murray of Washington State. She is also the highest-ranking Democratic leader on health care as she serves as the chair of the Help Committee. Senator, thank you very much for being back on the show.
Thank you.
I want to play for a second to remind people what we heard from Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett, the justices who were confirmed under then-President Donald Trump during their hearings. Watch.
Senator, again, I would tell you that Roe versus Wade, decided in 1973, is a precedent in the United States Supreme Court. It has been reaffirmed, so a good judge will consider it as precedent of the United States Supreme Court, worthy as treatment of precedent like any other.
This is a precedent that's been reaffirmed many times over 45 years, including in Planned Parenthood versus Casey, where they specifically considered whether to overrule and reaffirmed and applied all the stare decisis factors. So that importantly became precedent on precedent in this context.
As Richard Fallon from Harvard said, Roe is not a super precedent because calls for its overruling have never ceased, but that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled. It just means that it doesn't fall on the small handful of cases like Marbury versus Madison and Brown versus the board that no one questions anymore.
Senator, do you think they lied to the Senate, to you?
Well, I think they maliciously duped a number of senators. I was not one of them. I opposed every one of them. But obviously, their words did not ring true. And today, it was made very clear that what they said about precedent didn't mean anything to them.
You supported an exemption to the filibuster to get voting rights done, for example. Do you support that same kind of carve-out for a measure that would codify federally the right to an abortion?
Look, what I know is that today the Supreme Court took away the rights that women have had for 50 years to be able to make their own health care decision with their own doctor, with their own faith, with their own family, depending on their circumstances. And that was taken away today, and I know that people across this country are really angry about this because we are Americans. We believe in the rights of individuals. We respect other faiths and other beliefs. We expect them to respect everyone's faith and belief. That's the principle of America. And I think we will all be looking for every way we can to make sure that we can enshrine in law through Congress Roe so that women in this country have that choice again and that right. And that's what I'm working on.
So, and if that would mean, if it were to come to that, making an exemption to a filibuster for this issue, that is something you'd back?
But well, let me make this clear. Right now, there are not the votes in the United States Senate to enshrine in law Roe. And I'm going to be working every day to make sure voters understand that this is the choice they will make in the November election, because it's pretty clear to me today that that is the only way we're going to be able to change the law and make sure that women can make their own economic and healthcare choices.
Well, to that point, we heard from Senator Joe Manchin today, who said that he supports legislation that would codify the rights, and I'm quoting him here, codify the rights that Roe versus Wade previously protected. He says, I'm hopeful Democrats and Republicans will come together to put forward a piece of legislation that would do just that. As you know, he was the only Senate Democrat who voted against federal protections last month. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, I am willing to work with anyone to make sure that every woman in every state in this country has the protections of Roe. And that, to me, is a bottom line. But I also am going to tell you right now, there's not the votes in the Senate. This is something all of us have to work on between now and November. Because, again, I'm just stunned by this decision. As an American who has lived 50 years in this country with the rights and protections of individual citizens that was taken away today. And that's not something I want my daughters and granddaughters and people coming after me to have to live with. And there's only one way to change that, and that's in the votes in the Senate.
Senator, I only have about 30 seconds left in the show. You know, you're obviously from Washington, bordering very red Idaho, where abortion restrictions are set to come online. Have you given thought, do you want to see your state do more to prepare for women to potentially travel to Washington for access to abortion?
Look, we're already seeing women come across our border before today who did not know how the law would apply to them in Idaho, and were coming to our state for protections and to be able to make their own health care decisions and choices. I know it's only going to get worse, and it's going to impact our health care system here. But secondly, you just played. Pence has already made clear. McConnell's already made clear. Republican leaders and the pro-life groups have already made clear they're not stopping here.
Okay.
They want a federal ban on abortion, and if they get the votes in Congress to do that, my state, the women I represent, people I represent here, will lose that right. We have got to fight back.
Senator Murray, thank you so much for being on an extraordinarily busy day for us. Appreciate it.